They're
I
good.
stumbled upon like an article not too long about favorite brands. Well, actually, it was a French article saying what was the favorite French people brand, and it's a sports store called Decathlon. It's in 58 countries, so
Decathlon?
maybe some people know it. I think it's not in the US.
No.
Decathlon.
I know that brand because I tried to get something for you.
Oh yes, that's when you try to get the French soccer 2-star
Yeah,
World
but
Cup
I didn't.
jersey.
I got in contact with them,
Hmm.
and then I had no response. Very nice. The customer's French service. It's very good.
Yeah.
Ignore,
Ignoring.
ignore you. So I stumble
Hmm.
on a American website that offer the French Soccer World Championship jersey. And when I paid and when I received my
For the full price.
for the full price, I
of-
received the tracking number. We're coming from China.
Yeah.
From I don't know. It took like a month.
And it was super fake, so she bought it for an official jersey is super expensive, so she had the best intention, very kind and a caring gesture
But I
for our best
paid.
friend, but I received a fake jersey with 2 stars going over there, and
Yeah, but it was because of his man boobs. Don't blame the Chinese. Don't blame the Chinese. So sorry.
I have more man boobs now than I had at the time.
So probably now it's on the neck, like
Yeah.
here.
No, but for a month we could not find the French soccer jersey with 2 stars, which means 2 World Cup,
For months.
because the World Cup apparently was well, not apparently,
Yeah,
it's sponsored by
what's
Adidas.
5 months.
Yes,
It took 5 months.
yeah, and the jersey were Nike, and there were a
Fighting.
conflict, so they could not release the second star jersey anyway. But
Okay,
the
so Decathlon.
the Decathlon is the favorite brand. It's a sports store.
Uh-huh.
That was born the same year as me in 1977. It's a few friends, I think, in Paris, like they couldn't find a sports store that had a lot of different sports gear, so they decided to build it up, and so it started basically with me, like my whole generation. Now it's the French favorite brand. They do a lot of affordable. I think affordable sports gear, and I was reading. So they had the full thing on why it's the favorite brand, etc. And there was like a one anecdote that I found like very funny. It's like, so they were asking them, "Do you have one anecdote about Decathlon like not too long ago?" I said, "Well, 5 or 6 years ago, we weren't very short on supply for one item, and it was very strange because usually it was a steady sale throughout with the season, but they were like really sure of their stock because it's not something that was changing all the time." And said like, but this year, like, we ran out of stock like in 1 week, and we could not, it was really hard to get more, and we are a lot of demand. It was for what is called a riding crop, which is like the whip for the
whip.
horses. And like we tried to find the reason why we ran out of stock, or we had trouble restocking. We had a lot of demand because that was something that, like there was not a huge sale of horses all of a sudden that would increase the demand of riding
In
crops.
whole France?
In the in most of the most of the store, and I think
franchises.
even like throughout Europe, I think. And then they figured out why.
Why?
Because they looked at when they started to have like a high demand and out of stock for the riding crop, and the reason
Why?
it was matching the release of a movie, which is like 50 Shades of Grey or 50 Shades Darker. So people, instead of going to an adult store getting their whip, they went
to
in
the
the
Decathlon.
in the sports
Nice.
store to.
So that's why you have like 3 here?
Sure. That would
Do
mean,
it to yourself.
yeah, that means I would be active. Yeah, I think I'd say it's a bad boy.
Bad
boy.
Bad boy.
That's what
Aw. Subscribers,
Yeah,
friends.
friends, please.
We need someone to
Yeah.
be using that thingy to.
But so when I stumbled upon that article, I was like, oh yeah, I wonder what are like the favorite brands in the US.
Okay.
So I looked it up, and I was really surprised with the first one because I was thinking, like the most profitable companies. Like Apple, Amazon,
Coke.
Google, and stuff like that.
Uber.
And then the first one that came up, it was the United States Postal Service, USPS.
USPS, really?
Favorite brand, and I was like very very surprised.
Yeah, it's a boring brand. I mean, it's very patriotic.
Yes.
Patriotic
Why?
for the Americans, because Americans does everything still in the mail. Like they pay
Yeah.
every I receive so many shit through the mail. Like seriously, I don't open my mail for a week.
Yeah, in
And
2020.
I have shit all over my mail. Like if I wasn't checking
Wow.
my mail for the last month.
Yes.
And you know, people that move, please pay $1 and change your address, because I'm still receiving the mail from my
Me
2
here,
or 3.
it's never been like that.
Oh
I
my God.
receive mail for 3 different persons.
Yeah, pay $1. It's the only thing that it takes to change your address.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if I receive IRS shit from you. That's your
No,
responsibility.
but that's actually a crime if you don't forward it. It's a
Okay,
crime.
I take that back. I haven't received anything.
I did.
No, I haven't. No, the only thing
I did
you-
receive. You say that because I told you I received something from the
Yeah,
IRS
I
from
have
someone
not.
else. But yeah, the U.S. Postal Service, and I was really surprised because it's 2020, and as you said, like here it's really weird, but they still tell you like to send checks or whatever.
Yeah.
When it's 2020, you should be able to pay everything online. And but I think it's because of the aging of society. You have a lot of people
Yeah,
like
a
my
lot of
mother
old people
that
here.
are over 60, but I still don't have this
They are
reflex.
still fighting.
It's not automatic for them to think they can pay online. Like my mother was resisting paying online for years. She was like, I'm not trusting that. I'm not putting my credit card information there. And she was always
Devil
like,
stuff.
and for me, it's the opposite. Like I never had cash on me for the past, 10 years at least. Like I don't have cash. I don't have checks.
Money.
And yeah, I don't have money either. Yeah.
So sponsors.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. But and I think the reason why it's still the favorite brand, even I'm sure it's switching through the years. This was 2020. It was different in 2019, and I think it goes with the aging of the population as well. You have more older people.
Here.
Yes. And I think you're like
Yeah, like
the median age in the US is 39 years old. So and in Mexico.
I think it's 28, 29.
Yeah.
Because seriously, my mom, she doesn't pay anything by mail. It's always electronic. Even my dad, it's like very good at it.
Yes, but
He's very good, and he's 67.
But that's also the reason why, like when you say, and because for me it doesn't look like in France.
What is the
they
mean?
receive less than here, but I think it goes with the average age of the population. It's the average age in French is 42 years old, I think.
What is
so
it?
it's becoming a very
Old
society,
generation.
and I think it goes with it. We're still in the middle when we have still a lot of generations alive that never relied on emails, on paying online, and they're still like look into their mail.
Yeah.
And countries like Mexico, when most people would think, we're number one in progress in the United States, and for you, it looks
that's
really
my experience.
Yeah,
That's my
it looks
experience.
really weird.
And it's a
but
lot
you
of-
have more mail in the US than you would have in
Yeah.
Mexico, because people in Mexico pay online more.
And you know why?
And
I
it's a
think
younger generation.
Because it's more, you waste more money printing all that shit, like paper, like statements, everything. I
But
think
it really comes with
very
generation.
expensive. It's very expensive to print that, and to take that. You have to pay someone to print. You have to pay someone to put it on the
But
envelope.
that makes business.
Yeah, but it's a lot of. Imagine the we are polluting this world.
But it's always supply and demand. If you have an aging population that is still relying on mail, then people will send it because they see they get results out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're in Mexico and it's a younger generation that doesn't care about receiving mails, then they are not going to invest in sending mails and put this.
And well, here in US, they rely a lot in the USPS, especially in these days, the voting situation. They are, and that's one thing that I really admire about Americans, that they rely so much on the USPS that they are defending their position, like, because Trump is saying like, no, don't vote, like, I don't want the votes getting to the mail because it's
it
gonna
could
be a fraud.
Mm.
And people's like, no, we have always relied on the USPS because they have delivered our vote, and I know my vote it's gonna get when it needs to be received.
It's going to get there.
Yeah, it's gonna get there, and I really and that's very interesting. That's a good one. Bravo, Pepe. It's a very good one. The second one.
So Google.
Sorry.
And then
again.
UPS. I think UPS and then Amazon. I think it's linked because you receive everything. Now they have their own driver as well.
Yeah.
But like for years we had everything for UPS and it was really reliable, like extremely reliable.
UPS, yes.
Yeah, like Amazon Prime, like you get the 2 days or whatever. Like for me, my mind was blown that
I don't rely. I rely in UPS, but I don't rely in Amazon
FedEx,
Prime.
No. Oh, okay.
No, Amazon Prime. But there's
No,
always
it's getting worse because they're accepting everybody from everywhere. But anyway, so and then Netflix, then Clorox. I guess it's the 2020 situation.
That's thanks to Trump.
Amazon Prime, M&M's for whatever reason, and YouTube is number 10.
YouTube?
Yes, and I looked into the more into the French favorite brand.
Okay.
And YouTube is number 9. Wait.
Which is the first one? Decathlon?
Decathlon, yeah.
And the second one?
And then the second one is like something like Home Depot, which is also it's a French Home Depot. These are all the French brands that people like. And then the French Best Buy, and then the
French.
And IKEA is
the French Apple.
IKEA is number 5, and Amazon is number 7.
I cannot find.
But there's no Dior, Chanel, or whatever because these are not average consumers. It's luxury brands. Nobody can afford it, so that's why it's not on
You cannot afford Louis Vuitton.
It's not.
Gucci?
That's why it's not on the preferred.
Ferragamo. Me neither. I'm just.
So what is it in Mexico? What are the favorite brands in Mexico?
I think the first one, if I'm doing a good guess, it should be Coca-Cola, Coke, and Bimbo.
Bimbo is like food.
Bimbo, it's the number one bakery, I would say, company that had bought all these brands from all over the world. Like here, they bought, I think, Sara Lee, Wonder. They had bought many other companies around the world.
Okay, bread.
Yes, yeah, bread and tortillas.
Yes.
Tortillas. The flat thing.
Yes.
Beside my butt. Very Mexican flat thing. It's not a tortilla. It's my butt. But
are you a bimbo?
Are you? Yeah, I can say that. Do you think I am a bimbo?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So I think it's Bimbo. First is Coke, Bimbo, and then probably I think everything has to be with food. That talks about Mexico.
Yeah, and
a lot because it's only food, and that's why we discussed 2 banters ago, the 10th one, about why they are Mexican government are forbidding this
junk food for kids.
And I was reading that this how do you say, like, this law enforcement, it's because the actual government wants to revenge, or they want to have a revenge towards Bimbo, because Bimbo, it's a very it's very
powerful, I guess.
No, because they supported the previous presidents. So now it's political, and they are taking.
So it's not really about the kids.
I was reading. I was like, what? I mean, that makes sense because Bimbo, it's the number one seriously company in the world for bread. I mean, you can read it.
Yes.
And they have a lot of money. So they gave supposedly a lot of money to the Felipe Calderón, which was the previous president before Peña Nieto. And it's funny because this guy, the current president, he has been trying to be president since 18 years ago. So he lost against this president, Felipe Calderón, that was supported by Bimbo.
Okay.
So that's what they are saying.
Yeah, it's lobbying, basically.
That's what they are saying.
Bunny.
So I was like, it makes sense. I'm not saying that I am totally, like, I agree totally about that. But
you don't have proof?
I don't have proof, but in some extent it makes sense. that this guy is taking, because Bimbo has everything in Mexico, everything. Like it's not only the bread; they have the Twinkies and all the junk food, basically for kids that you can buy. The gancitos, Mexicans that are out there, please send me gancitos, because the gancitos is a little, it's like a Twinkie covered in chocolate, and in the middle you have.
Okay.
Gancitos, please.
But they have a lot of power because they are the number one company, so they can pressure other people because they have a lot of influence. Money. It's like the biggest the lobby, so then they can pressure and then they gain power.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem when we. Yeah, that's a huge issue.